All right, it's been a month again, which means it's time to talk about the vinyl records that have come my way in the last month. I'm super excited to share them with you. I got a lot, as is often the case, more than I planned for, and I've got more coming, like two that are going to be here in the next week for sure. And so both of them are albums. The two that are coming are albums that came out yesterday, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, let's jump in. Let's get it done. So the first one, Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, Cold Roses. So it's an interesting one because this one often will show up listed as just Ryan Adams, and sometimes it'll show up listed as Ryan Adams and the Cardinals. But the sticker on the actual album says Ryan Adams and the Cardinals. There we go. I face it the right way. It's simply it's a double LP black vinyl. Um, One of the things I love about this album, first of all, I love Ryan Adams and I love Ryan Adams and the Cardinals. But one of the things that I love about this album specifically is it has this incredible like texturing on the cover, which is really really nice. Cold Roses is a fantastic album. I've owned it for a long time on CD and digital, and I definitely wanted to have it on vinyl. So that's the first one. Next, we have Embodiment, The Narrow Scope of Things. Now, Embodiment is actually a local band to me. I live in Dallas, Fort Worth. They're from the Arlington area. This album was released at Furnace Fest, I believe, last year, not the most recent Furnace Fest that passed. And I was really, really upset to miss it. I don't ever really get to make it out to festivals financially and just time wise, it's just impossible for me to do. But I was sad to miss it because this particular album, The Narrow Scope of Things, has meant so much to me over the years. It's one I listened to a lot. I was really into this album when my friend Alan and my friend James and I took a trip to Seattle, Washington, and we went to the Tooth and Nail offices. And I bought myself an Embodiment T-shirt and a sticker for my truck at the time. That was Embodiment because I loved this album so much. Specifically, this song "Greedy Hands" is just there's something about that song that just hits me in a way, you know. So this is a really beautiful vinyl. This is a single LP, I believe. Let's double check, make sure I'm not lying to you. I'm 100% lying to you. It is a double LP. What do I know? We've got this beautiful sort of red and orange splatter, or pink and orange splatter. And then we've got this beautiful, I'd forgotten about the second album, but this beautiful green. And this I don't know if you can really tell, but the sort of splattering on this is such an interesting pattern. It's so unique. So, Embodiment, The Narrow Scope of Things. Bought this secondhand, but it did come with the Furnace Fest Obi strip, which is something that's very sought after from people who get these albums. Um, they want the Furnace Fest Obi strip, so it's cool if there's extras on hand and for sale later. It's cool if you buy it secondhand, but if you can get that Obi strip, that's where it's really at. So, okay, so the next one I got after I bought MXPX's newest album, I had to go back and get the one album I didn't buy when it came because I was kind of like, do I need another MXPX live album on vinyl? I'm trying to make good choices with the vinyl that I purchase and not spend too much money. But I was like, it's the only one I don't have, so yeah, I need it. But this is kind of cool. It's got a lenticular cover, so you can see that the poking at your punk kind of ends up in different places in the crowd. This is also a double LP. Let's see if I can get. And ultimately, what sold it for me, was that there are certain like sort of guest vocals on this. Okay, this one's really hard to see. I think you can see it a little bit there. So it is, kind of a black, but it's got a little bit of like a splatter in it as well. But this is there's just some people that show up on this album that um, as guest vocals on different tracks that make this album super worthwhile to me. MXPX puts out a lot of live music. I mean, there's a lot of bands that do that. Dave Matthews Band does that, for instance. Dave Matthews does way more. Um, and so a lot of times you're like, well, I've got a lot of live albums. Why do I need this one? For me, it's the guest vocalists. It's a couple of tracks that hadn't shown up before this album. So Southbound to San Antonio. It's also an album that's got a Texas town in the name, so I always appreciate that. Anything that helps me remember that Texas doesn't suck all the time is great. Next one. This one's an interesting one, and I'm going to talk about this for a second. So this album is Ryan Adams' Easy Tiger. Now, I fell in love with this album. I remember specifically I bought this album at a Starbucks next door to a Dunkin' Donuts in this small town in Massachusetts. And I had to stop in the Starbucks to get the album because I knew it was coming out that day, and I knew Starbucks was going to carry it because I worked at Starbucks at the time. And I loved this album. I listened to it so much. I've held off on buying the vinyl because I've had so many people tell me it is a terrible pressing. It's got tons of sibilance and sounds that shouldn't be there. Also, the cover is nothing like the cover for Easy Tiger, which is a bummer because I actually really like the cover. So I was like, am I going to do it or am I not going to do it? So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I love that album so much. I want a copy of it in my collection. So it came. Now, it comes like this. It comes in basically like a picture disc, heavy outer sleeve. And all it comes with is this thing. And the vinyl is sort of tucked into this. Now, this is a full poster, which is pretty cool. It's a full poster of Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, Easy Tiger. Love it, right? And it's got lyrics and all that kind of stuff on the inside. But the album is tucked inside this. Well, when I got it, my album was not tucked inside this. There was nothing. It was literally just this. I ordered it off of Amazon, which, serves me right. Amazon has messed up several of my most recent vinyl record orders. And I've had to do like a return process, which is a pain in the butt. And so then Amazon required me to send back just the poster and sleeve so they could send me a new one, which is so lame. They should have just let me keep the poster, which would have been awesome. I would have hung that poster up. And this is an orange vinyl, sort of an orange translucent, but this is a phenomenal album. And honestly, my copy of this, the sibilance isn't that bad. I really think the album as a whole sounds great. So next up, we have Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. Okay, so for this album, this is one of those albums that I knew I was going to get someday because this album meant a lot to me when I was younger. I can remember sitting in the floor reading the liner notes on my cassette tape or my CD. I think it might have been a CD at this point. I might have gotten it on cassette first and then gotten it on CD. Anyway, reading the liner notes for this and just like coming to see names that would later become like I'd see them everywhere, like Glenn Ballard. So I knew I was going to get this, and I knew that Walmart carried it. It was a good copy, and it was relatively cheap. And I was like, okay, that's all I need. I just need a copy of the album. But every time I went, it was gone. Or when I went and it was there, it was not in the budget that day, so I couldn't do it. So the other day I went, and it happened to be there. So I was like, all right, I'm doing it now. I'm getting it. And so very happy to have Jagged Little Pill in my collection. I feel like this is definitely like a must-have. Like everybody needs a copy of Jagged Little Pill in their collection. It is on a sort of clear vinyl. But yeah, great album. Lots of big hits on that album. I think most of you are familiar. So then I went on Amazon again. I don't know why I do these things that I do. So no, I do know. I was looking for Christmas vinyl because I have to plan ahead to budget for what vinyl I want to buy around Christmas. I have a big Christmas vinyl collection, as you've seen if you've watched my Christmas vinyl video, and that's always growing. And so I was like, okay, well, I want to look and see what Christmas vinyl is there. I came across these two albums, one of which is, actually they're both Christmas, but one of them is Christmas, one's not. The one that's not Christmas, which is going to be the one after this, was a phenomenal deal. And then I was like, that leaves me money left over for what I had budgeted. So then I found this at a pretty good deal too, and I bought it. So this is Blake Shelton, Cheers It's Christmas. I do really like Blake Shelton quite a bit as a musician. And so this is black vinyl. It is, I think it is double LP. Yeah, it's double LP. There's some great familiar country songs on here and Christmas songs on here, and then a couple of more originals. And he does this really great version of Home with Michael Bublé, because he's been known to cover Home by Michael Bublé. Let's see here. We've got just to tell you who shows up on this album. He does Oklahoma Christmas with Reba. He does There's a New Kid in Town with Kelly Clarkson, which is really a great, sort of Christian Christmas song. He does Home with Michael Bublé. He does Silver Bells with Zinnia. He does Time for Me to Come Home with Dorothy Shackelford. And he does The Very Best Time of Year with Trip-to-Funk. So that's pretty interesting. There's some really specifically country Christmas songs on here, like Two Step Round the Christmas Tree, and what was that other one that just caught my attention? Oh, Santa's Got a Choo Choo Train. But they're really fun, and I really enjoyed this album overall. Again, I love Christmas. I love all kinds of Christmas music, and I do enjoy some country. So Blake Shelton, Cheers It's Christmas. That was the next one. This is the one I got for a really good deal, and I'll tell you a little bit about this too. So this is Casey Musgrave's Star-Crossed. So I really love Casey Musgrave's voice. Whether you consider her country or not is really not that important to me. There are certainly songs that are more country than others, but I've really enjoyed every album that she's put out that I've heard so far. I did not have Star-Crossed. I've got like 2 or 3 of her albums, but I didn't have Star-Crossed. So I said, okay, I'm going to pick this up. And I knew this was the one that kind of opens up in the middle of the locket and all that. I will say, it's weird. You got to pay attention on Amazon who you're buying from, right? So I ended up buying from like some dude. Like when the box came in, it was like from a specific dude. And it's in a little bit worse shape than I would have liked. Like the case itself has a few dings and marks and stuff like that I wasn't super happy with. But the album plays great, so I guess I can't complain too much. But it's another one of those things where Amazon kind of gets you. So my vinyl is this really kind of bright, somewhat translucent orange vinyl, which it's interesting to do an orange vinyl with like this hot pink kind of cover, sort of contrasting. But yeah, good album. Enjoy it, definitely. Next up, on my country kick still, Miranda Lambert Platinum. When this album came out, we definitely listened to this album quite a bit. This album has Automatic on it, which I think is a very, very beautiful song. It's black vinyl, but I didn't have any Miranda Lambert in my collection. I had some Pistol Annies, so I was like, okay, I definitely need to put some Miranda Lambert in the collection. So I added Miranda Lambert. And then, okay, this one is an impulse buy. I'll take responsibility. I'll say what it really is. I took my family to Cracker Barrel to eat the other day, and I was like, I wonder if they carry vinyl now. And sure enough, they did. And I saw this Sun Studios Greatest Hits, and I was like, I got to do that. That's awesome. So what I really loved about this, what clinched it for me on this, is that this has some really early Elvis that I don't have on vinyl anywhere else. I have sort of Elvis number ones, which is all his number one hits. But this has That's All Right. It has Blue Moon of Kentucky, which I think was on that. And it's got, let's see. That might be all the Elvis. But it's also got some great Johnny Cash. I don't really have a ton of Johnny Cash on vinyl. It's got Carl Perkins. It's got Jerry Lee Lewis. It's got Roy Orbison. So I definitely was going for that. Single disc, black vinyl. But yeah. Got that. Got a great meal. Got some other accoutrement to bring home. And went for it. Yeah. Next up, okay, this is a hefty one. This is Mondo's soundtrack for Hogwarts Legacy. So I'm a big Potterhead, which is Harry Potter fan. I've been a big Harry Potter fan for a long time. And so whenever I see a Harry Potter soundtrack, I definitely want to try and pick it up on vinyl. I've got a couple of the Fantastic Beasts ones, but really none of the Harry Potter ones. So Hogwarts Legacy just came out, and so I ordered it. It's on triple gold vinyl. This is, it's a score for a video game, and the music is by Chuck E. Myers. In parentheses, it says C, and or in quotation marks, and then J. Scott Ricazzi and Peter Murray, and it's pressed on 340-gram gold vinyl. And this gold vinyl is gorgeous, man. It's got this sort of rippling effect to it that makes it look like it's like straight up like gold nugget, which is really cool. I don't know if I'll be able to. There you go. You can kind of see. I don't know how well you can see. There you go. You see that? Yeah, it's beautiful. Love it. Love it. So, and the soundtrack is absolutely gorgeous. Have really enjoyed listening to it. And the last one that made it in time for this video is one that I ordered from Lost in Ohio Records. This is a band that was on Tooth and Nail Records back in the day. I've already ordered their first album and received it and did that in a video. So I was really excited when they did this album because the first two albums by this band were the ones I listened to the most. So I was really glad to get Morellas Forest Ultraphonic Hiss. So Morellas Forest is sort of a noise pop band. Really love their music. They are from Ohio. And this album is gorgeous. It's single LP, if I can get it out. It's this sort of like light blue, kind of cloudy vinyl. It's got, Candy Necklace Kind of Love, Glitter, Butterscotch Boy, Tangerine Drops, Pastel Straws, Hula Hoop, Big Orange Bubble, Lime Velvet, Love Seat, Silver Syrup, 30-Second Wheelie, and Gate Called Beautiful. For me, Candy Necklace Kind of Love, Butterscotch Boy, those were a couple of really big tracks on there. I really love everything on here, but so yeah, Morellas Forest, Ultraphonic Kiss. If nothing else of theirs comes out on vinyl, I'm really happy. I've got what I want the most. But they have a couple more albums, so we'll see if Lost in Ohio puts those out too. In the meantime, I'm really glad to have what I got. So I'm looking forward to sharing with you the my October records that are coming in. I know for a fact I've got, like I said, 2 coming next week, and I've got at least another couple that I'll be ordering in October. I need to scale back a little bit. I am going to a concert tomorrow, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to go see the Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie, along with the Beths. So that's what I'll be spending today. In the meantime, have a great day. Check out the rest of the collection if you haven't. I've got the whole collection in video form on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if it's something that you like. Don't forget to, like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications and all the stuff that they tell you to do. But I'd love it if you come back and check out the collection again.